Have you ever been victimized by New Age spirituality?
We've been waiting for you. We've been waiting.
You're going to want to listen up.
I'm Megan, an intuitive life coach and Reiki master.
I'm Ryan, a professional astrologer, and we want to show you what spirituality is by talking about what it is not.
Con artist.
Yes.
Snake oil salesman.
There are so many susceptible people out there.
And then they're tainted. They're ruined. They don't want to come back to spirituality.
We still have a lot to learn, and we will humble ourselves and learn, I think, every freaking day. This is Clairannoyance,
a podcast of spiritual interference.
Greetings. This is a very different type of monthly astrology forecast. First of all, we're a little into November at this point. Megan and I have had some wild schedules lately. We got a good amount of episodes in the bank ready to go for you, but it's just taken a while. And currently, I'm on a cruise. And the internet sucks, so it's been impossible, even uploading anything. So I'm just trying to, set these to upload, and it's taking forever. But this is the November astrology forecast, but different, because Megan and I could not record together for this month's episode. But I do these monthly forecasts on Mikaela MacLean's podcast. Her podcast is called Beauty by Design. You might remember Mikaela. Mikaela was on episode 6, The Energetics of Beauty. Mikaela was a medical aesthetician for 20 plus years. And she's also an impeccable human design practitioner. And so the monthly forecasts that I do with Mikaela on her podcast are very different. Not very different, I guess, but they're different because I bring a lot of the astrology into the mix, and Mikaela knows a lot of astrology too. So we get some really good back and forth between her and I. But Mikaela brings this human design perspective into the mix also. So this is a really extra special episode that ran on Mikaela's podcast before November even started. And now she was so kind enough to let us run it on ours. So this is a Beauty by Design takeover on Clairannoyance. And I think you're going to love it. Thank you, Mikaela, so much for letting us bum your episode, essentially, since Megan and I couldn't record our own. But it's such a good episode. I literally loved recording this specific episode. And if you listened to last month with the theme about crossroads, that was a really big deal. And this month I view as kind of a continuation of that theme. So even though we're into November, better late than never, these themes are still very relevant, still a lot you should know. Please enjoy this, and please check out everything in the episode description. Go listen to Mikaela's podcast. Enjoy this. Thank you again, Mikaela, for letting us re-air your episode. I hope you guys really dig this. I loved recording this one with Mikaela. Okay, that's it. From the 7 seas, wherever I'm at right now, somewhere in the Pacific Ocean, I don't even know. Pray for me that this uploads, because I've been uploading the Reiki episode for the last 2 days, and it's taken a while. The internet on this cruise ship is real slow. Okay, love you all. Bye.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Thank you for being here. It is, oh my God, November transits. Yuck. Can I say that? It's my podcast. Can I say that? We've got Ryan here to talk about all the astrology of the coming month of November, of Scorpio season, going into Sagittarius season. I mean, we're approaching the end of the year. So it feels wild to be talking about this every month. Help me.
November. Right? I do not want
it. Oh my God. I saw on Ryan, it started snowing here this morning. What's today? October 25th. No, thank you. We're not having that. Thank you very much.
Mm-mm.
How are you? How are we holding up? Eclipse season as well, because we're still in the thick of it. We got the second half coming this weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I know, and we got 2 weeks after that until the next new moon. It's there's a lot. We're in a time of transition, of change, transformation.
do you feel like everybody's been going through it? Because I feel like that's
Yeah.
all I've heard from anybody. I did a little poll like maybe a week ago or so. I can't remember. It was around, I want to say around the Libra new moon, their solar eclipse. And I was like, oh, how's it going? And I was like, yeah, all good. Or I'd rather not talk about it. 100% of people said, I'd rather not. And a lot of people answered. Not one person was like, I was like, oh, that's
God.
telling. That's really telling.
It's true. It is true. And, I think I even see it because my social life is like pretty slim these days. But I mean, in general, but it's largely people who are not into this stuff. And no lie. And even they are seriously going through it. Like, I mean, literally contemplating major job changes and like, it just like huge shifts. It's so funny, even for the people who aren't even aware that this stuff is going on. They're also feeling it.
Yeah. It's what I was saying to you, before we hit record, where I was like, I feel like I've been getting a lot of clarity. It's been a quiet period after what has felt like this year of a lot of ramping up and things just kind of building, and then suddenly getting massive clarity and it feeling quiet, and weird, kind of a funky vibe is like the way I would put it. But like I said, I'm like, but I have not labeled it bad. It's not a bad thing. It's just change. And what do eclipses do? They redirect us. I always am like, the hand of God comes down and it's like, boop, you're not, let's turn you around, spin you around and get you back on your way. So, that's what I've been feeling, but I had a number of people also, kind of mention our last episode and you talking at length about crossroads. And again, just everybody seems to really be feeling that.
I feel like it was a good theme. Can I also say? Theme. I really do. I feel like it's like I feel it in somebody. It's just this. And we're still at it, still. But I just want to also acknowledge that I love hearing you say you've had moments of clarity, because that Neptune on your sun causes such a lack of clarity, but it's retrograde now. It does lift that fog a bit, and you are able to have those like nice moments of clarity. So it's good that you're getting that, even if you don't feel like you're able to really like tangibly do something with those clear moments yet. But you're getting it. You're seeing things right now. I would
totally agree with that. And that I was going to, just to clarify, to get clarity, to clarify, for anybody listening, it's like Neptune is retrograde. Neptune's going to affect anybody everywhere. But for me, it just so happens to be sitting directly on my sun. So
which takes a couple years. Like
homegirl be going through it. And again, what we say, it's like most people are never going to experience that in their life. They'll never experience that. But guess what? Yours truly. And I would say that it's like it's been a murky, like times of clarity, times of just in the muck. And so there you go. So send prayers. Wish me luck. Continued luck.
We need a prayer chain going around, honest to God.
Oh my God. Yeah, we really do. Okay, so if last month our theme was crossroads, then what are we dealing with this month?
I know. Well, I'm using alliteration with this, so if
Girl, I love alliteration.
I don't care.
I know me about it. I'm all about it.
I'm calling this month Dignified Debates.
Ooh.
And it really is like going off of last month, like thematically. I will say just up front too, overall, November is a lighter month. So yay. Like there's some breather energy going on here. It's not as inherently tumultuous or whatever. But yeah, but like we are coming out of that crossroads space or the via combusta, as we talked about last month. And with that, right, people are picking new paths coming out of eclipse season. People are tossed onto new paths. Like there's new direction, new clarity, all this stuff coming in. And now we're like moving. And like, especially as November moves along, like we are going to be firmly like heading somewhere else.
Yes.
Right? And as like we take new directions, we are dealing with what we know from the past, our experiences and what we've learned, and also now trying to apply our previous learnings to new situations, and then also running into new people who are maybe more experienced than us in these new situations that we're entering into, and like just dealing with like kind of uncertainty, but like I think like you turn into a new road here at the crossroads, and you're going to run into things that challenge your beliefs and like what you think and like, are you being too dogmatic as you're going down that road to this place that's new? Like, why? Like the need to kind of like realize that there's something to be learned from other people. And like, you're not going to know it all when you're taking a new path, right? Yeah. But that desire in us to want to know it all can get us engaged in healthy debate or in unhealthy debates too, but just debating in general. And I know that like, I don't literally mean that like we're just all sparring for words. There are a lot of things going on this month that do indicate like potentially heated conversations, like opinions clashing, contradictions happening. But in general, it's just that idea of like the back and forth of a debate, and like how there are healthy rules regarding when do I speak, when do I listen, when do I like, what's that exchange of information like? What do I contest and what do I not? Are you there? And in a debate, I'm a former like speech and debater national champion. Thank you very much.
Gemini.
Like, of course. And there's a judge even. Are you the judge? Like there's so much to this. Like you can watch a debate taking place, and like, what are you seeing there? Like I don't know. Are there presidential debates coming up this month? Didn't even look into that, but like maybe. Like I mean, the election cycle is already upon us, and debates have been happening.
Oh, Lord.
So I know. So there's stuff like that, and it's like just an interesting space, like, and there's a lot of ethics involved in this stuff, and like unhealthy debating can spiral into so many really frustrating and negative scenarios that prevent you and other people from growing or moving into productive spaces. I think like a big thing that I really thought about with this, there's a lot that I've thought about with this, but I think the idea came to me when I saw a TikTok, go figure, of this girl who's got like no following, which no hate to people with no followings. Like that's literally fine. But she's got no following, and she's not an astrologer. She's like a feminine energy worker.
Okay.
All about it. Anchoring the feminine. God knows we need it in a patriarchal society, right? But this all comes into play. And she makes this like 2-minute video just literally trashing people who use tropical astrology, which is what we're using, our zodiac.
Right.
And she's like, astrologers, I need you guys to get on board, get it together. I'm unfollowing every tropical astrologer I see, and it sucks because some of you are intuitive and like you're kind of on point in that sense, but your astrology is just wrong. Like I need you to report on where the planets literally are in the sky. For anybody listening,
sidereal?
Yeah. And for anybody listening, but this is such a thing, the debate between sidereal and tropical. For anybody listening, sidereal astrology is rooted in the Vedic system, which is Indian astrology. They literally report on where the planets literally are in the sky. So when Mercury literally moves into the constellation of Aries, for example, that's when they say, okay, Mercury's now in Aries. We use Western astrology uses tropical zodiac, which was set about 2,000 years ago. And because of the Earth's wobble, it like things have changed. Like where the constellations are from 2,000 years ago, they've changed, right? But constellations and zodiac signs are not the same thing. They have the same names. They're not the same thing. We use a set energetic, it's like a belt that the planets are moving through in the sky, okay? And it's the set energetic belt. and the symbolism of it all still exists and matters in tropical astrology. Sidereal takes this very literal approach, but it's like there's so much I could say about this. I literally made like a huge video just combating her point by point, and I didn't post it. I had to stop myself. Like, I chose to do this healthy debate thing, and I don't know, maybe I'll still combat her, but I just didn't find it productive. Like, I was so riled up because I was like, you have a fundamental misunderstanding. And what, like, my whole point with this too, and what you'll never really catch tropical astrologers hating on sidereal astrology. No. Like, well, we're going to be like, yeah, explore it, go for it. But sidereal astrologers, because they're so literal, they love to say tropical astrology is not real. It's like the planets aren't really in these signs. And it's like, no, they are in the signs in our system. They're not in the constellations in your system. But also, like, the fundamental issue here for me is like, it's like she's playing baseball, I'm playing basketball. Stop using the rules of baseball to tell me why basketball is wrong. It doesn't make sense. We have different rules. We're playing a sport. We're both playing sports, but you can't use your rule book for a completely different game to tell me why my game is messed. Like, don't. It doesn't make sense. It's fundamentally flawed thinking. Like, and this is like a logical fallacy. Like, I'm literally using debate terms here. So I'm like, I just caught myself like going after her. I know that this is like a little long-winded of an explanation, but this
I'm
really
loving it.
Got me. Thank you. It's what got me into this, though. You know what I mean? And like, I was like ripping this chick apart. I'm not going to lie. Like, because a big thing she was talking about too was, you know, well, not in this video, but just her content and what she does for a professional living is harness like the feminine energy, right? And she's telling in this video, she's saying, like, tropical astrologers, you're directing my energy somewhere where it doesn't actually exist. Like, I need you to direct it where the planets really are in the sidereal system, essentially. And so I brought up this whole point, which again, I haven't posted this, but I just was like, and again, this is not a hate to sidereal astrology whatsoever. I'm just saying you are talking about the literal nature of things in sidereal astrology, right? So did you literally know that in sidereal astrology, in the Vedic tradition over there, none of the planets, the deities representing them, are feminine? They exclude on purpose the feminine energy. So now you, as someone who harnesses feminine energy, are mad at me for misdirecting your energy, but now you're going to direct your energy to a system that excludes the feminine. But you harness feminine. So now what are you trying to do, though? So now how are you going to harness the feminine if you're directing your energy towards something that excludes the feminine? It doesn't make sense. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh,
like, this is a valid point to bring up because she's talking about the literal nature of things. I'm like, well, literally that system was based in a very patriarchal space. And so was tropical astrology, and all of astrology has been very colonized and et cetera, et cetera. We have a lot of issues all around, but that system is way more traditional in that sense. And even in all their temples, all the planetary deities are gods, not goddesses. So what kind of feminine energy are you harnessing, to be quite honest? And there are sidereal astrologies or astrologers who are taking, there are goddesses associated with planets in the Vedic tradition, but that's not where the sidereal zodiac came from. That's not where that whole branch of astrology came from. It came from the masculine space and masculine archetypes solely. So to now start applying goddesses to that system is to change that system, which is supposed to be a very literal and accurate system, you know? Yeah. So if you're upholding the accuracy of that system, you can't start applying feminine energy to it, quite frankly. So like, it's just like, there's so much I can say about this, but it's like the tropical system is a more inclusive system. We have Venus, we have the moon, which like the moon actually, fun fact, was in large part traditionally considered a masculine energy, but tropical system, while it is a set system from 2000 years ago, and we didn't change based on the wobble of things and where the constellations have moved or whatever, we have that old system that is fixed, but the rest of it is not fixed. It accounts for human evolution and like our growth and the fact that we are in an inclusive and diverse society. And Venus always was a feminine planet, always was. So we always had the feminine in our system. And we now also can talk about any sign, any planet through a feminine lens because we say we fucking can. You know what I mean? Like, because we account for the fact that humanity has changed and grown. That system is fatalistic. They say this is who you are. This is when you meet someone. This is like, it's deterministic, fatalistic, absolutist. Ours is not. And I'm not saying that's wrong. It's just not the lens I see clearest with sidereal. I see clearest with tropical. And who is this chick to tell me I am wrong, that my glasses are fuzzy when I see the world very clearly? Thank you very much. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's so interesting. So I thought about this and then I just realized, like, I don't think I'm doing anything productive. I spent a long time like combating her point by point, re-recording. And I just like got to the end of it and was like, why, Ryan? Why? What's my goal? What's my goal here?
Yeah,
she has like no views on this. For some reason, her video popped up on my feed. And
just to set you off.
Let it go. Yeah. And I'm like, I got way more followers than her. I don't want to like be like sending people her way, like a bigger creator. I'm not even a big creator, but it's like, I don't want to be a bigger creator, like smashing on the little guy or whatever, but she's just fundamentally flawed, you know? And I like, she should understand that, but whatever. So I stopped and I also stopped because, and this is the final thing I'll say about it. Sorry. I know that this is very intro. But it's because of like, I know that in Tibetan Buddhism, like they literally have a practice of debating, which feels weird.
Yeah.
Like, you think of Buddhists as peaceful people, right? Which, yes.
No, but that's like the point of it. Like, why they do debate. Yeah.
Yes. It's like a serious monastic practice. And they do it not so that like one party can experience the notion of winning, but they do it to stretch their brains and consider as many perspectives as possible and be listening. There's very specific rules in their debate system. And like, you know, it's the exchange and free flow of information between two parties there. And like, you come to a greater understanding of other people's perspectives when you have healthy, dignified debates, right? So that to me is what I thought was missing in my like retort to this girl. Basically, I was like, we're not debating, we are one-sided conversationing at each other, essentially. Like, you are fundamentally flawed and somebody should tell you that, but like, maybe that doesn't need to be me, maybe not in this forum right here, because it's not going to lead anywhere productive. And I don't think she's going to see my perspective, no matter how well I could articulate it, you know? But debating is an important thing. It is, because it's not something we should shy away from when we have ideas that or beliefs that contradict somebody else's. Maybe we can discuss these things in very healthy ways, and like, come on, and a very collective end, Israel Palestine right now, you know, like there's so much I could say about that, and we're not going to turn this into a political podcast, but there are serious debates, right, occurring, and people need to like listen to each other, come to a greater understanding of things that are going on here, versus me versus you, us versus them. Like, this is not helping anybody in any way. Like, how can we explain perspective and thoughts respectfully? I think that's just an important thing, you know, coming out of this crossroads space, which has been tumultuous for many people, right? Like you said, like like everybody's dealing with energy's high, tensions are high. And so like, we're more likely to snap, or like, because so much is changing, we'll hold on for dear life to any little bit of truth that we think we still have left, right? And just like shove it down someone's throat. Like, we're just in that space. And I think it's not, how do we still be nimble and like flexible and like allow for the fact that maybe there's a greater truth, an expanded truth, and like, it's not that we're wrong. You know, it's just that like, maybe there's more to know, and we can be open-minded about that.
Absolutely. Well, and it's interesting too, like this whole basically we go through the spleen gates consecutively. Like it's the one center that the whole thing gets lit up between Libra and Scorpio. You know how we were talking about it at the Via Combusta last episode. And so the spleen is all about your health and safety and well-being, and it's really about your survival. And so it has a tendency in a low expression to hold on to things that are past its expiration, aren't good for you anymore, like that kind of vibe, right? And it ends, we're coming up on the end of it. The last gate that is active before we move out is the 44. So basically what you have at this time of the year is essentially like a spleen detox. If you're doing it correctly, all of these fears and anxieties that are really about just truly survival at the end of the day, right? Not dying, continuing the species, all of that, right? Which again seems incredibly relevant to what is going on in the world. And you kind of allow that detox essentially to happen. It ends in 44, and 44 is a fear of the past repeating itself. And I know. And it's like, wow, okay.
That's
okay.
Deep. A fear
really deep.
of it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. And the beautiful side of it is this pattern recognition, rather than fearing this is always going to happen, Groundhog's Day. It's like, no, I can use the patterns of the past to better navigate the future. Right. And I don't know, it just seemed relevant to everything that you said, was like, we're moving out of that. And then, when we go the next gate following it, we move to the G center. And the G center is about love, identity, and direction. And at the quarters of the wheel in human design, so this is going to begin the fourth quarter when we move into on the 5th, we'll move into gate 1. It's reorienting us. It's reorienting our direction in time and space. And this is gate 1. It's creative self-expression. So, I said last time, I was like, it's the phoenix rising from ashes. We've been through all of this like craziness, truly just mind-boggling stuff. Honestly, can we just have like a moment of silence for the last almost 4 years now of like, what have we all collectively been through on so many levels? I'm not referencing one thing, everything. No. And just the thought of like, please, like I said, the hand of God coming down, just set us all back on the right path and reorient us to the one of the key words for gate 1 is freshness and beauty. It's like, please let us,
yeah,
we need this energy so bad.
I loved that you used the word reorientate ourselves, right? Isn't that what you said?
Mm-hmm.
Because orient is east, is what that means. And in astrology, just ancient like philosophies, the east is where the sun rises, right? Mm-hmm. It's where life and new energy is born, and we look out into like a new land. Oh, sorry, my something's dinging over here. Let me like mute that.
Yeah, like the eastern horizon. And
yeah. Yeah, and so it's like, it's cool that coming out of like such a tumultuous few years, I think there is this like the idea of reorienting can be scary also. There's a fear of that, like changing directions or whatever, but there's like such a good hopefulness to it. It's literally indicative of new life. So like chase that shit.
Yes, please.
And I think like people need to take the pressure off themselves of like even trying to process the past 4 years. Right. Like, I mean, because we're not in a space to comprehend it right now. Who is truly? And if you are, good for you. If you're not, it's fine. don't feel the need to wrap your mind around whatever this all was. Just gaze toward the east. Let's go. Like let's move somewhere new.
Yeah, I know that optimism is so needed right now. And like I said, if the freshness, the fresh start of something, and the final quarter. So when we move into this, it's the final quarter is transformation, and I'm like, oh, I just love that. It's like, all right, we've gone through the whole like mental, the physical, the emotional process. And then it's like, and let's transform. Please.
Yes.
Please.
Yes, it does. No, really.
The fact that it's Scorpio. It's like, this is about it. It is truly a transformative time. And I love that.
It's literally, as you said, the Phoenix rising, like that's literally the story of Scorpio to Sagittarius, right? Like things go to ashes in Scorpio. Sagittarius is an inherently optimistic, positive, light-oriented sign. So there's this rising from this dark Scorpio space. Scorpios, I don't mean that in a negative way. It's just transformation, right? We got to like know what's dead and gone, and like so that we can emerge from that space. Like you caused new growth in people. And then Sagittarius is that like, well, what do we do with new growth? Now we're off and running in different directions. I don't really know where I'm going. And that's what we're doing now. And that's fine. But like in that crazy space, I just think there's misunderstandings, like all these things can start showing up. I think that's why I think the dignified debates, learning how to, it's not even just relating. It literally is the like, almost like more logical component of communicating with one another and working together is this idea of debating productively. Right.
Yeah. No, I want to see that, see like a healthy version of that.
It brings more compassion into the picture when you are willingly choosing to surround yourself with people and thoughts who have different perspectives than you. You are going to expand not only yourself, but you will literally come to an understanding of other people and develop compassion. And that is such a needed quality in today's world. This is also something that I was gonna say to that girl about who was trashing tropical astrology, because one of her points literally was she just vehemently was like, I'm just gonna unfollow all tropical astrologers. And I was like, my retort to that was, that's drastic, but like that's the same thing as somebody saying I only watch Fox News because that's my cognitive bias and that's the perspective I agree with, and I'm going to shut off all other perspectives. And we literally have scientific studies of what that does to a human's brain and their success in life when all you do is take in information from one source and close yourself off willfully to anything that contradicts what you already know. Like you're limiting yourself, girl. You know, like why? Yeah,
it's just an echo chamber then. And you're like, you get no new perspective and appreciation for other people. And like you said, compassion, you know, I don't know. No, thank you. No, thank you. No. So, moving on.
Now we can get into like some of the astrology high points. I think that was a good like thing to talk about though, because I think the astrology is a little more clear cut, straightforward this month. So it's not like all these crazy things that we got to discuss, but lunations, which, dear listeners, you all know what lunation is now, right?
Right. It's the moon.
Yeah, new moons and full moons. So we have the new moon in Scorpio at 20 degrees of Scorpio, 21 degrees, 20, right around there, on November 13th. This is important because it's the end of eclipse season then. We've now gotten into a new lunar cycle. And it's happening very early in the morning, Pacific time on November 13th, technically. And it is conjunct Mars. The sun and the moon are together. So the moon looks dark and it's about to grow in light after the new moon. It's with Mars and it's opposing Uranus. And because it's in Scorpio, there's this like, again, like kind of like the destruction, the death of things, the, decay of stuff. And so we can, and Scorpio rules like ideas of toxicity as well. Sorry again, Scorpios. I'm making you sound bad, but honest to God, you're like low key, like my favorite energy. Because we need to be looking at this stuff, like you cause such a profound change in people. So people are really feeling, I think like the vibe I get with this, because it's a new moon, we bring in things at new moons. I literally get this feeling of like how are we engaging in toxic patterns and behaviors, control, power issue plays, right? Like all these like kind of like harsher themes that we like consciously or unconsciously are perpetuating in life. And how those negative habits, behaviors can be a result of things we feel are missing in our current lives. Like, I wouldn't be this way if I had this, And so I think we're looking at voids. We're looking at where there's been like a death or something just missing in our lives and how we act out of a space that's maybe not healthy because we feel like something's missing. And so I think at this new moon, basically, I feel like you're getting a sudden realization, and it can feel a little sharp, like a little, I don't want to look at that. We don't love looking at the Scorpio parts of ourselves all the time. But I think we can realize, like, dang, I have been not my best because I thought I needed this thing. But the thing is like, whether you need it or not, like it's a new moon. You can kind of identify what is missing. Like you can realize like, oh my God. And like, it's not so apples to apples. Like you can realize like, you know, what's like somebody who, I think the example I was using here is like somebody who drinks because they don't have a love in their life. They don't have a partner. They're not married. And so they're like suppressing all this uncomfortable feelings of being single or whatever by drinking, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But really, because it's Scorpio, everything with Scorpio always goes deeper. You're not missing the partner. You know, like that's what the conscious part of this that you're probably already aware of what's missing, right?
What's going on subconsciously.
Yeah. What's really missing in that scenario would be a level of like self-worth, self-love, like missing even like just healthy relationship stuff in your life in general. It's not the partner, this idealized, I must have this like perfect significant other or something. It's I miss the ability to relate, you know, or something like that. And by uncovering that truth of what's really missing, you can fill that void at this new moon. You can ask and wish for those missing pieces to come in so that you stop engaging in these like lower level behaviors. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. You said something in there that it was like, oh gosh, it was like the perfect word. I think it was like insight or something. The moon, well, obviously, you know, sun and moon, being a new moon, and Uranus are making a channel. They actually are forming a channel in the chart that particular day, which is really cool to be getting that. It's the channel of structuring. So Scorpio is in the ajna. It's like unique opinions and insights. So these are things that suddenly like hit you. It's individual circuitry. So it's like, it wasn't there 2 seconds ago and suddenly like a lightning bolt, you're like, whoa, I know I got a vision. I got like something came in. And Uranus being, you know, off the beaten path, radical, whatever, you know, it's
electricity and lightning.
It's electricity
like
and lightning. Right? Yeah, totally. And it's like, oh, and here it's so simple, right? It's like, so, that new moon, you know, so that'll be us officially out of eclipse season. And then we'll be, you know, it's the first one that's not an eclipse that we've had, you know, the last 2 back to back, where I would anticipate, you know, potentially some really, really just insightful awarenesses, things that will just, again, it will hit you so suddenly that it's like, oh, it makes so much sense and it could be so simple. And, you know, like you said, it's like, oh, what's my deep dark secret or whatever, you know, it's like, oh, and that's it. And I need to just like learn to love myself or whatever the answer is. But I think that there's going to be an opportunity, you know, like a portal, like figure that out, like to enter into that place. Yeah. Anyway, just a thought.
And what that has to do with this idea of debating in my mind is like, okay, this Scorpio is ruled by Mars. Mars is conjunct this new moon. But then opposite that is Uranus, right? And Taurus. Oppositions are 2 things looking at each other. It's inherently relational. Uranus is in Taurus. Taurus is ruled by Venus. Venus is the other relationship planet. So we got Mars and Venus so active here, relational stuff. It feels like, and Mars in Scorpio can be a trigger. It knows how to push buttons. It knows how to like do that stuff, right? Mercury is also going to be in Scorpio, which we'll come to, but that's like an X-ray vision. You're able to like kind of probe and see beneath the surface of things. So I feel like this like sudden insights, lightning bolt energy can easily be somebody kind of just perceiving you in a way that's a little deeper. Like they say something about you that you're like, people don't normally like bring that up or like notice this, or like, that's a very like interesting insight that you've just given me. And it could sort of challenge you in some way, shape or form. And you could feel that little sense of being triggered, but rather than hang on to that old self or something, like look at their insight as like a new thing that you can incorporate. Like they're probably enlightening you in a really cool way, even if it's, and they don't even know it probably, but like you might be like, oh my God, they're touching on something that's much deeper here, really? So like, look at that in yourself and like, can there be a change in you? And you can get that change at this new moon.
Yeah. Oof, love that.
Yeah, it's a really cool new moon, I think.
I think it will be really great. Anytime, I don't know, that's a very cool channel to anytime to have active. So I love to see it. I think it's going to be good, and like I said, and the fact that you said somebody's saying something to you, individual circuitry is incredibly auditory, acoustic. It's about hearing, and it's like that inner ear thing happening. The 43 is one of the 3 gates of deafness, so it's like, I always call those energetic earplugs. It's like, it's going to tune out anything that's not really meant to get in there. So maybe just knowing that somebody may say something to you, and if it hits you, it was meant to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was meant to go deep. You were meant to hear that, at that time.
A trigger happens for a reason. There's this really, really sharp response in your physical and energetic self.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of information in that trigger, right? Like,
right.
So exploring that. And
Scorpio is always about looking at the shadow. It's about looking at the stuff that you don't want to see in the first place. And then I will also add that Mercury, that at that time, is in the gate of power. So it's like the words are going to have power. So I don't know. I think it's going to be that should be really interesting.
I think so too.
Yeah.
I think so too. But I think people are going to be like ready for this coming out of like the eclipse season.
Yeah. Well, and again, individual circuitry is about it's clarity, it's knowing, it's claircognizance in the moment. And so it's like sudden, like I said, it'll be there, it won't be there, and then suddenly it is there. It's like those shower thoughts. I always think with individual, it's like, where did that come from? Oh my gosh, it all makes sense now, just like the light bulb comes on. But I love it too. I think even just time of the year, I feel like, me personally, by about truly, I mean, as we're speaking now, but about this time of year where I'm already getting clarity about the next year, of like this sort of coming to an end, and that new moon being this time of like, hey, essentially setting those intentions, or really having the marinations, of what is my transformation going forward. One of my friends this morning was like, we're not taking that energy into 2024. And I was like, I love to hear it. I love to hear that now at the end of October, because you're right. And I want to be, I think it's like, who wants to do the cold turkey thing of like January 1st? I want to be contemplating and marinating now, so that those things they're already in my awareness. It's already in my psyche that this is the new flow for a new year. Anyway.
It is an interesting year, because astrology doesn't often line up with like the Gregorian calendar super cleanly, but this one actually does. Like, it's kind of like, on New Year's, Jupiter turns direct, and then Pluto enters Aquarius. It's like a very like New Year moment for sure. Like, I think in January.
Interesting.
But we'll talk about that later. Oh my God, we're already going to be talking about that next month.
I know.
Get me out of here. No. No.
I was anyway. Like doing like the numerology. I'm like, I'm going to be having a 9-year next year. I know. I know.
I think I'm in mine this year. I actually can't remember now. I haven't looked at my numerology in a minute. I think my 9 years this year. I think my 1 is next year then.
Yeah.
Must be.
Depends. I'm into the tantric numerology, so 10 and 11 are factored in. But
okay, interesting.
I'm always one ahead of the collective. Like, is this not what we were talking about?
Right.
Always a step ahead. So next year will be an 8-year for universal 8-year, but for me it'll be a 9. Anyway, getting off on an irrelevant tangent, but also always relevant.
The next lunation is a full moon in Gemini at 4 to 5 degrees. And it's on November 27th, another very early morning. It's like 1:16 a.m. Pacific time, November 27th. This is a another big one. It's much more conscious. It's not as deep because Gemini energy in general doesn't go super deep. It's pretty conscious planet sign. So, but it's full moon, sun and moon opposing each other. Sun is over here in Sagittarius with Mars, which is very energizing. And then the moon is opposing it in Gemini. Moon in Gemini is a very restless, very anxious energy. And I really view like, I think Gemini and Scorpio have so many similarities in the sense, but it's just like the unconscious versus the conscious. And Scorpio is so much more unconscious and what lies beneath, and Gemini is so much more grazing the surface and dealing with the matters at hand. So this is kind of like an interesting transition energy here, going from the Scorpio new moon to the Gemini full moon. But in general, really, we're dealing with the axis of Gemini Sagittarius during this full moon. And those two signs do not always see eye to eye. Very, very, very different. Like, I mean, they seem similar, but they're so not. Like Gemini, book smarts, Sagittarius, street smarts, like, and both have efficacy, right? But Gemini's like, I think, because I've studied this, I've learned it. Sagittarius is like, I know, because that's my life experience. I lived it. And so there's this clash coming into play again about like, well, here's where I'm coming from and here's where you're coming from. And so fight. Like truly, and Gemini, the debater. Sagittarius is dogmatic. It really will latch onto a belief and not have information to back it up. To be quite honest, it's like always the difficulty with Sagittarius. It's like, and it's lofty,
and for them, it's the truth, all caps.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Their truth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And so, I mean, I think this lunation perfectly epitomizes that whole sidereal versus tropical conversation, because it's like, good God, be careful under this. Like full moons are times of heightened emotion, and like people can be a little nuttier right now, and in general. But the energy of this is that, like, we're coming from two different spaces. We're using two different rule books to try and argue this. Like we can't we can't pull one side to the other using our own systems, because we're from fundamentally different systems here, and so we need to respect that and understand that your rules don't apply to mine, my rules don't apply to yours. That can coexist. And how does that coexist? And then as well, like, there's this T square happening with Saturn in Pisces. And by this point, Saturn is freshly direct as well, which we'll talk about. But that's like a very sobering energy too. Saturn turning direct in Pisces is going to be a very like harsh look at the nature of reality and what's real and what's not. And both sides are going to be arguing who's true and who's not, basically, around this. And I just would say try to limit. This is a good time to listen versus talk, have sources, back yourself up if you're gonna engage in debates of any kind at all. And just stay grounded. Like that Saturn squaring this, creating a T square, is a really potent energy. And I think it's just kind of asking you to be patient with each other at this. No, Gemini's a quick-witted sign, chatty. If you can't tell, so like we're in Sagittarius season ultimately, so it's like stay open to being teachable, and with Saturn, have patience with each other. And if you're in a position of teaching, you want to have patience with the people you're trying to educate. People aren't always going to get your point right away, let them come around to it. Let their mind, give them that space to have the mind expand.
I love that. Well, yeah, this one too. Okay, so there's only three channels in the chart that are opposition, that the opposition creates the channel, right? And there's Earth in human design, where there's, non-traditional astrology. And so the sun and the Earth, or, the sun and the moon, right? Either way, So the sun and the moon are actually creating the channel of charisma, which is the one and only pure manifesting generator channel in the entire chart. There's only one. And so again, the opposition creates this channel. And this is, again, like you could think of it as individual. It's an integration circuitry. And this is just like what's in front of you and responding to it. So the Sagittarius piece is the power and the sacral, and the Gemini is the now in the throat. And so it's like, it's in front of you and you respond, you know what I mean? Like there's no thinking to it. It's just a expansion or contraction. So it's really fast, you know, and the reaction time, you know, again, so when this is about with Gemini involved is like communication pieces. And like you said, I mean, just kind of everything you said and just sort of like watching yourself, you know, of like, oh, okay, maybe I don't want to speak too soon or speak out of turn or, you know, whatever. Like you said, people not getting what you're saying because you had the instantaneous understanding of something, but not everybody around you necessarily does.
I love the terms expansion and contraction here too. Like that feels very this. Gemini is much more short-sighted. Sagittarius is much more like broad perspective, sweeping perspective on things. Gemini's a little more like in the little bits. But also we're in Sagittarius season, ruled by Jupiter, planet of expansion. But Saturn is squaring this planet of limitation, restriction, contraction. So there is a serious like I think it feels very polarizing here. Like you feel very loud and forceful and brash with your opinions, but then very like when you get caught in a lie or like something and you like back off and now you have nothing to say. Now you're quiet. Like where's that knowledge? Where's that wisdom? Where's that learned experience or whatever? Like I think that you can really, so that's why it's like take the middle roads here. Like,
yeah. Well, it's funny too, because Saturn being in Pisces, it's in gate 55 and that's the gate of abundance, but it's not like monetary abundance. It's the gate of spirit. And it's like, oh, love is everything and finding the beauty in life. And, you know, I mean, is that not so? It's like, here's Sagittarius and Gemini doing their thing. And then us Pisces over here being like, it's all love. Like,
so
get on my hippie train with me, please.
So true. But that's because it's
being the teacher. But Saturn being like, no, this is the lesson to be learned right now. You know, these are the facts. And well, so here's another layer of interestingness. Those three gates make up 3/4 of the cross of the sleeping phoenix. And this is very important in the long term. I say long term, 2027 is not that far off when things shift in human design and we move into that individual era where we really need to know, love, and understand ourselves and trust ourselves and not be looking to outside, you know, gurus and different things. I mean, this is why I'm so passionate about all of this is I'm a pure individual. So I'm like, yeah, guys, we need to get on this train. Like understand that like you need to understand yourself so that you can live as your best self, which is actually going to benefit everybody. You know, like we're all tend to your own garden, do that. So it's kind of cool that we're getting yet again. I mean, always little things will pop up and be almost like a little previews to future happenings. So this full moon, you know, in a sense could kind of function as that, which I always think is cool that you essentially have like, you know, a square. I mean, in this case, it's a T-square, but it's like, you know, squares are built into the human design chart because it's about tension for growth. Anyway.
No, it is. Yeah. This will be a really interesting full moon. I think the full moon can be a little dramatic here. Not gonna lie. I think the new moon has drama, but there's so much to that there's like, it's good. Ultimately, like that is a good new moon in Scorpio. I really like it, even though you are dealing with some more complex themes. This Gemini one, it's like the themes aren't complex, but you're making it a big damn deal. Why? Why? But calm down.
Because you can.
Yeah, it's weird. It's really
my gosh. Well,
and that's like right around Thanksgiving too. So people were with families, like bickering. Careful.
Oh God. Well, I was gonna say, you know, this being a Gemini full moon, Gemini's ruler is Mercury, and looking to where Mercury is at during this time as well. It's in gate 11, and that's the gate of ideas. This is a really cool, I actually have it in my chart. It's a very cool gate that is, it's essentially like a channel, it's quite a magical gate. So really, really being able to reach up and grab ideas from the collective, like you don't know that's where it's coming from, and then they're just all out there floating for everyone. So almost like thought forms, and being able to, harness that. So in some ways, again, depending on how you look at all of this, it's like that could be like, hey, actually, open-minded thinking is available to you, and new ideas and new possibilities if you choose to see it that way, rather than being like, I'm going to be oppositional and bickering and all of that, or I do have the ability to kind of expand and see different ideas and different points of view.
Yeah, that is a really cool gate and energy. It in like the worst scenario here under this full moon, it makes me think of like people who would be like ungrounded spiritually, who are like, I have a download about this thing. And people are like, and it goes against like scientific fact or something.
Yeah.
And people are like, no, like this is actually how the nature of reality works or something. Right. And we're like, no, we know this. Like, this is actually, we've studied this. Like, I could tell you and point to facts and give you sources and whatever. And the person who's like, well, but my download, my spirit guides told me, like, and it's like, I'm not trying to discount your experience of having spirit guides and talking to them and doing that whole thing, but you also can't have a limited focus on that being the only end all be all there is. There's still also a reality where we've uncovered things. We do know certain things about the way the universe works. And, just looking at like on both sides, there can be a open-mindedness or a like that expansion contraction. I feel like that was like the perfect way to put this.
Yeah. It'd be interesting.
Yeah.
As always.
Yep. And I think we spent so much time on those too, because those are really like such a cosmic heartbeat, I think, to the months, like the lunations, new moon, full moon, new moon,
right.
full moon. Like it's so patterned. It's so predictable in that sense. So I think they tone everything that we talk about. Okay, and then we got planets changing signs, 4 of them. 3 really, because the sun changes signs every month. We already know this.
Yep.
The first one is Venus moving into Libra, November 8th. Love this. Thank God.
She's
Venus
coming home, baby.
Yes. Yeah. So getting out of Virgo too, where like she does not love Virgo necessarily. So she's been struggling a little bit. Not feeling super pretty. Seeing all her flaws.
Kind of feeling but plain Jane.
Yeah, I totally feel a little plain Jane. I love that little homely look. It's okay. But now she's putting it on. She found makeup that works for her. She's got a new hairstyle. Like she is ready when Venus is in Libra. It's fashion, beauty, like, but also social etiquette, social grace. Okay. Like, these are important things. And Libra takes that moderate approach too. It's in the middle of the zodiac. So it balances both halves of the zodiac essentially. And it's the peacekeeper of the zodiac. So there's this inherent diplomacy and mediation going on here. And needing to have like ethics when you're engaging in social situations.
Oh God, we need her right now. We need her now, there, right now.
Hurry up.
Yes.
Hurry up. I'm dead. But that's
truly though, right? I mean, like she's gonna come in and beautify everything and be like, let's put things back in their place.
You said, oh God, we need her now. We do. She will. She's gonna make everything right in the world. But it also will be that part of us that's going to then, it's nice because I think we'll be put in that more neutral space a little bit where we're then maybe noticing more of that back and forth energy of a debate playing out elsewhere in our lives, and watching it happen. And Venus in Libra has good ethics and morals as far as like right and wrong, fair, right? And, but then that inherently like Libra rules the justice system and judges. And so we can get that element of I'm a judge now and I am in a position of being able to pass judgment of some sort. And I think that that's puts people in an interesting space because maybe you are good and just and neutral and doing what's fair and right for others. If you're asked to be in a mediator spot or whatever, or maybe you're just judging anything and you're doing it neutrally and in a balanced way. But otherwise, like, are you a biased judge, right? We've seen plenty of videos where like there's a crap judge on a court case or something and they clearly have a bias and they make the wrong call. But then there's also in like a healthy debate when the judge is fair and balanced or whatever, a sore loser can take that out on the judge when it's like the judge had no issue. Like it was your issue. You were the problem. You didn't do a good job in this. And now you're facing that quote unquote repercussion of not quote unquote winning. So like, I think that's an interesting thing here to be this idea of a judge or be a mediator. It's like how a couple who is struggling will go to a marriage counselor, right? It's weird how there's animosity between the couple really, but then how that can start to get funneled onto the therapist. You know?
Well, they always say it's like, you know, sharing a common enemy is like the way that, you know, a lot of people get closer.
Yeah, that's so true. Yes. And it reminds me of the myth of Apollo and Pan in a way where like it was like a music contest and Apollo and Pan basically like they had a music contest and it was Apollo was deemed the winner. Yes. And King Midas, like everybody like accepted this win. Like, okay, like Apollo's the best. And King Midas had this like association already with Pan, loved Pan so much, and so refused to acknowledge Apollo's win. Okay. So in this case, you get both ends of what I was just talking about, where you got this judge who's like knows who the winner is, but is refusing to admit it because they're biased, right? Not a good judge. But then also because of that poor judgment or perceived poor judgment, it doesn't really matter. Apollo like ruined King Midas. Like I forget exactly what he did, but he did something like chopped off his arm or whatever it was that they did, you know, weird mythologically. And so it's like that sore loser can really take things out in a really negative way on people who are undeserving of that. Like, okay, really, Apollo, like you were deemed the winner just because one person doesn't acknowledge your win. You're gonna like cut them down or something. Like, who cares? Calm down. You got your win. I don't know. That's just like, I just think there's really interesting energies of Venus and Libra that don't necessarily have to do with like my side versus your side. It's also those witnesses to it all.
Right. Yeah.
And then November 10th, Mercury enters Sagittarius. A lot of what we were already discussing. Honestly, this is going to be very much present at that full moon in Gemini. Yeah. And this is like Mercury doesn't like Sagittarius because it's ruled by the opposite sign, Gemini. So in Gemini, Mercury is so open-minded and it's wanting to learn and gain information and like absorb facts and statistics and sources.
Yeah, it's very curious.
It's a student mind. And then in Sagittarius, it's not that it's bad. I don't think that's not what I'm saying. It's more focused on dissemination of what it has learned. So it's the teacher harnessing knowledge, like knowing where wisdom is, right? Like where you've learned enough that you can now spread what you've learned to others in a good, dutiful way. And it's like Mercury and Sagittarius is like where you question truth, I think, in healthy ways. It's that part of you that maybe like grew up super religious and now you were like dogmatic about the Bible maybe, but it's also that part of you that then starts to question like the Bible and its efficacy and like not to hate on Christians. I'm just using this as an example again. But you start to wonder like, is this really right for me? You know, and you are again still dealing with like morals in a big way with Sagittarius too, your principles, your compass in many ways. And Mercury will give you information about where's your compass pointed at this point and somewhere good or not, you know. But people get really like it's dogma. It's dogma. I'm gonna make a video separately than this, like for my TikTok, and like my title for that is gonna be like something to the effect of like focus on your dharma, not your dogma, because that is also Sagittarius. It's your dharma,
like,
which is like your principles. Like, it's like, what are you
Yeah.
living? What are you here for? What are you living?
Yeah. What is your
for, you know?
purpose here?
Yeah. And it's healthy to question that. It's very healthy to question that. And dogma doesn't allow for the questioning to take place. It limits what your purpose could possibly be. So that's like this interesting conundrum.
Right. Like I said, with Sagittarius, it could be truth with a capital T. And you're like, well, there are other truths out there, you know? Yeah. Yeah. So interesting. So interesting. And also like Mercury and Sagittarius, like, you know, people putting themselves in that position of like, I am the wise one, you know, I will disseminate. I am the teacher. And it's like, well, okay, maybe.
I know. And it can happen in like dumb ways too. Like, it makes me think of, this is like a weird example, I guess, but other people do. This is just a common one. Like Lady Gaga, when she basically like anointed herself, like when Born This Way came out, like, I'm the pop star for the gays, and then she like named her fans the little monsters and all that, you know, like typically these are like titles and things that are earned. There's a respect that's earned with Sagittarius. And when you force that dogma approach of, I am this, I will be the savior. Savior complex is more of like an Aquarius thing, I think, but like, I am this like more godly, holier than thou person, is
right,
like a Sagittarius thing. And I think that that's like an interesting approach. Like, are you taking credibility for things like that you don't deserve credibility for?
Right,
are you passing yourself off as an expert in something when you're not? Like,
oh God.
Yeah. And yeah, you know, it's like,
I've just been seeing a lot of that lately. Yeah.
I mean, like that girl with the sidereal astrology. I'm sorry. It's like, you don't know. You're not an astrologer. You don't know what you're talking about.
People getting, I've seen a lot of this. I am not naming names, but just like, I'm going to just take this sound bite and run with it. And you're like, you have not clue one what you are talking about. And you look ridiculous and you don't even know it. You know, you think you're sharing, you're disseminating, you know, powerful information. You're going to look so wise, you know, and farthest from the truth, from the people who know. I'm like, girl, watch out for people like me who are line ones who actually do know. And you're like, it's Swiss cheese, mister. It's full of holes. You don't know.
Yeah.
I'm embarrassed for you.
Oh my God. No, really. It's so true. I also think like a good approach or philosophy, Sagittarius is philosophy. I think a philosophy with this is that idea of like, teach what you're learning. Like, I mean, it's good to teach what you know.
Yes.
For sure. When you know something, great. But it's also very helpful in many cases to say, oh my God, I just read this. Let me share what I've just read.
Oh my goodness, right?
That
the
off though, as if I'm an expert in it.
Yes. Yeah. Oh my God. There's so many people that would appreciate, this fits actually the scenario in my mind that I'm really focusing on right now. That I'm just like, if you, don't present yourself as the expert when you know that you don't know. Tell people, I'm learning this too. Isn't this so cool? Like, it gets you off the hook. It's a disclaimer to be like, I'm learning right here along with you. And we're going on this journey together, right? Of the Gemini curiosity versus like said, the Sagittarius, like, no, I know this to be fact and to be the truth. When I don't know, like I said, I'm embarrassed for you. Like when you know people don't know, like, and you know them well enough and you're like, please stop.
Truly.
Oh,
I know. There's just no point. There's like, I get it. Like, Sagittarius has so much to do with like, it's ruled by Jupiter, role models, right? Mentors. Like, who doesn't want to feel like they could be that for someone? But you don't. These aren't things you anoint yourself with. Like,
that's exactly it. Yes. And I think people just watching people again, not without wanting to say too much, but you know, trying to like jump the gun or cheat the system and get somewhere faster than, do you know what I'm saying? Like like you said, you haven't earned that title. You actually haven't studied that wisdom. You are not there. You are not an expert in that. And you know that to be true, but again, you're trying to pass yourself off. Like you said, like, because I want to be somebody, I want to be, you know, a role model. I want to be this. It's like, just earn it. It takes time.
You cannot call yourself a doctor if you do not have the doctorate. Like, you must earn this title.
Well, I mean, you know, like, I could speak for both you and I, you know, in our respective areas, where it's like, you didn't learn what you know overnight, you know, nor did I. And these are things that it's like, that's your or my area of passion. And, you know, I'm obsessed with this stuff. So it's disrespectful to people who it is their thing. You know, so like that girl on TikTok doing that, you're like, the level, and that's probably why you were so fired up at that, you know, let's Scorpio this. It's like, it's because at the end of the day, that was incredibly disrespectful to your profession and your knowledge and your wisdom. And that's not cool. You know, you're not doing that to her. I don't know. Just people blow me away.
Yeah. Especially when it's like from people that you feel should know better. Not that I know her, but it's like, I'm used to this from people who, quote unquote, don't believe in astrology. I don't care. Whatever. I got nothing to prove to you. I don't feel this desire to debate you.
But they're not going in on sidereal versus, you know, trauma.
She's coming from such an unfounded space, and she's in the spiritual space. It's like, that's my point. Yes. It's like, you're somebody in this and you're presenting yourself in a certain way. Like, you are some sort of an expert. You're speaking on something adjacent to what you do, even though you're not an expert in it. And that's one of my things. I'm like, you never know who's going to look at X person and think they do know what they're talking about when they clearly don't. But they take that as the gospel. You know, and well, I heard it from this person. You're like, you're severely misinformed because that person has no idea what they're talking about. You need to check your sources. Yeah. And you need to like look at what you're doing, like how you're pitting sides against each other here for no reason. And you don't even know that you're doing it for no reason, because you don't know that there's different rules in our systems. Like, it's just like, oh my God. Like, some people aren't even prepared to enter a debate, right? Sit it out, man. Nobody's forcing you.
Nobody's forcing you. Like, what? You woke up and you chose violence today. you came for tropical. You came for Western astrology. All right, girl.
You white girl, frankly, also like white, like girl sitting here, like whatever.
Oh no.
My God. Yeah, I know.
No.
So all this energy heats up even more, but in a better way. November 22nd, Sun enters Sagittarius. So Sagittarius season will officially be there. Okay. And then November 24th, Mars enters Sagittarius. Honestly, like, the Mercury Sagittarius being by itself there is harder because it just doesn't operate to its best ability in Sagittarius. Right. But with the Sun entering, with Mars entering, these are good energies. Like, we will now be the Sun makes us more aware of ourselves. It is like an identity marker. So we'll kind of catch ourselves in those moments of logical fallacies, or where we'll know if we're trying to pass ourselves off as something that we're not. Like, you'll be a little better about that. And then November 24th, Mars heats things up in a fun way, especially in Sagittarius. It's like really, really enthusiastic, excitable energy. And so now there's a lighter feeling at play in general. Like, people are happier, more optimistic. Like, they're chasing their passions, like, which is there's so much more that you could talk about and teach others through the pursuit of a passion versus I'm just sitting here talking about this thing that's like for no reason. Like, you know, so I'm really excited about the very end of the month.
I love that.
Overall. Yeah. I mean, we still got that Gemini full moon in the mix, but like, there is a more lively and spirited, happy energy at play here.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's what I was just saying too. It's like, you know, you or I being so passionate about your work and wanting to share it from that place, you know, like that's like, to me, that's a healthy expression of that energy.
Yeah. And Mars is how you move. So this Mars in Sagittarius versus Mercury in Sagittarius well, whatever. Mars in Sagittarius is more of the street smarts energy. Like that's where you can start talking about your lived experience, I think, and like showing it and like just embodying it too. Like, and people will learn from how the life you've lived and the story you can tell in that way, right? It's okay. Like there's important things about talking about what you've learned, what you know as well, like factually correct in a correct way, not spreading fake news. But the Mars now kicks in this ability for a couple months here.
Nice.
Like,
well, you know, in design, Mars gets a bit of a spin where it's like it's a placement that you become powerfully wise in over time.
Ooh.
So, you know, again, I mean, that kind of
do that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right. So it's got a little bit more to it. You know, it begins as an immature energy, and then over your lifetime, or say even the progression through a sign, as we're looking at it just transit wise, you know, it's like it's going to be in Sagittarius for a while, the immaturity and transitioning to a maturity by the end.
Oh, it makes sense because the full moon in Gemini is going to be right a couple days after Mars enters Sagittarius. So it is going to be an immature energy around that full moon. I just feel like by the end of that transit, I bet we've learned so much for sure. Really interesting. And then I never knew this. Now I'm just thinking Mars in my own like birth chart and like, oh God, yep.
Right.
Yep. This fits. But I think the bad part of Mars in Sagittarius that I guess again you're going to want to be careful of toward the beginning of this is that it's really restless, impulsive, reckless. Like Sagittarius is a wildfire and Mars literally starts fires. So this is like that fire getting started and then it's off and running in all directions and like quick. So it's sort of like, oh God.
And Sagittarius is also not known for being like graceful and the most you know.
True.
The most
it's ruled by Jupiter. It's like FOMO, like bounce.
It's not known for that.
No, I mean it's like
just like an immature fiery energy. Woohoo!
Yeah. Or like this, I don't know. I view it kind of like the Santa Claus sign because it's like Jupiter brings gifts and all these things.
Yeah.
Whatever, optimistic. Totally. But it's like you hear Santa Claus like crash landing on your rooftop, and Ben's like, stop. Like,
rolling out of the sleigh.
Yeah, they are not very light-footed. Okay, it's okay. Yeah. But and it's fine. Like there's a spontaneity to it. Like I like it. That's why there's the impulsivity because you're like, yes, let's do it. Yes, let's go out of town this weekend, and then you totally forget that you had something else that you actually had to get done on the weekend. You know? So it's like spontaneity is good, but like also take a breather. You don't have to decide within 0.5 seconds, and you can take a breather and like look at your calendar, assess things, like whatever, and then do that spontaneous thing. You know,
like I said, I mean that is literally the channel that is being created at that full moon. You know, it's like it's in front of you and you're ready to respond. It's just boom, go. That is the channel of charisma. It's like watch what comes out of your mouth, watch what she say yes to, you know, it'll be in the blink of an eye.
Interesting. So those are the planetary changes. And love it. The next theme I have, the next two themes are a little bit of like a different type of thing, but the first one is that Saturn's turning direct. Yay. Sort of. No matter what, Saturn's a little bit of a harsher planet. Saturn turns direct at 0 degrees of Pisces on November 4th. So it progressed through Pisces starting in March, and it backed all the way up and said, let's redo this. So there's wherever Pisces is in your birth chart, whatever progress you think you made there, March until now, you didn't. You did not. Saturn. Now you're gonna start doing it the right way. You know, like that's kind of the nature of this. So I'm actually really excited about Saturn turning direct. But Saturn will sit there pretty much all month. It takes a while to pick up speed. So it's just at 0 degrees, right? And then there are all these other planets that are gonna come in to Sagittarius and square Saturn. So 0 degrees Sagittarius, as the planet enters Sagittarius, it's like boom, square to Saturn, boom, square to Saturn. So November 10th, Mercury squares Saturn. November 23rd, Sun squares Saturn. November 25th, Mars squares Saturn. Okay. so those 3 times, which are basically right around the times where these planets enter the sign, there's like a little bit of a delay, whatever. But that's when you're going to want to be careful. I think the bad with this is that there's a delayed gratification. As fun and shiny as Sagittarius is, as spontaneous as it can be. It's like it can feel like you're not getting everything that you want out of like an experience, you know. Like you're putting in work and not getting like what you feel is owed to you, not seeing the results of something.
Oh my God, stop talking right to me.
Well, and it's just right away. It's a passing feeling, but it is like a pretty serious thing, you know. I mean, it can like kill that joy. It can be a little bit of a buzz kill, you know, delayed gratification. Because Sagittarius is a very gratifying sign, but it's like you don't get it day one when these planets enter. Because there's a little bit of a like, to have that joyful, expansive, liberating optimism of Sagittarius. I gotta like deal with this thing first, though. I gotta like do this duty. I gotta have this all.
It's like doing your chores, you know, before you get to go have fun, doing your homework.
Oh my God,
whatever.
Perfect way to put it, actually. Yeah, perfect. I think the good of this is that both Sagittarius and Pisces are ruled by Jupiter.
Right.
You know, so even though you're dealing with this like harsher, gotta do chores thing, there's the knowingness and the hopeful like side of it where you're like, well, it's worth it. Like the faith that it's going to work out and you're going to get what is owed to you.
Yeah, almost like an expansive freedom that's on the other side of your homework or your chores. Yeah.
It's like that's pretty much the gist of this theme. I don't really have much more depth I want to say to it. It's just that it happens multiple times throughout the month.
Yes.
So there can be that feeling like just kind of throughout the month.
And it's in that Saturn will be sitting in 55, you know, so again, that whole like spirit, that very expansive, you know, energy that is, that'll be really interesting. And it's like power and spirit are like squaring each other over and over.
Ooh. I wonder if we'll see like religious debates or anything going on like in the church or something throughout November. I have a lot of ideas about collective stuff, but I won't even get into that.
Well, both of those gates, again, they're individual circuitry too. And that's mutation, that's change, it's evolution. So again, you know, squares kind of that I always think tension for the sake of growth and, you know, maybe pushing kind of for some sort of evolution. I don't know.
Interesting. Okay. And then my final theme here is that the Sun and Mars are traveling together the entire month long, which is unusual. It really is. They're very closely conjunct the whole month. There will be an exact conjunction on November 18th at 25 degrees of Scorpio. Before either of them move into Sagittarius, right? This is just a larger theme, like overall encompassing the entire month, which like there's a lot to say about it, to be honest. There is that feeling of like, because they basically move into Sagittarius together, there's that Phoenix rising energy, right? Ashes and Scorpio moving into and you're ready for it. Like there's a I don't even want to say present. There's an anticipation of like, I know what's coming. I'm ready for that moment where I get to like jump out of this darker space and into the light. Like, and you're like so in, I feel like the body and spirit are very in sync with this, I guess, if that makes sense. Like you are ready. Like when you get that nudge, you're going to jump, you know, like that's kind of how it feels all month. But even in those times, like, which can go the opposite direction where like, if you're not experiencing any movement, you're feeling that in your body. Like you're just kind of like, like restless and antsy and whatever. Otherwise, this is like just a great energy at play, like in electional astrology, like where we pick dates for things. It's great having Mars and the Sun in good aspect to each other. So this conjunct aspect is excellent for many things. It's very entrepreneurial minded. Like I would love for anybody to start a business this month, like, or just under Sun Mars conjunction. Leadership potentials or leadership themes will just be big. Like we might see like serious changes in leaders of like big companies. There could be power restructuring going on at like your workplace or something like that. You might attend like a leadership seminar, you know, like there's like this idea of leadership being a pretty big focal point. You just have more energy physical stamina in general. Great time to be starting like new workout routines for sure. Anything physical or for your health and your longevity. Great. You'll feel more assertive and courageous, a little bolder. There is the competitive side of Mars though as well. So like everybody's got that feeling of like, I can edge up my competition. Yay, achievement and success driven, but the competitive nature tame because of all of the other debatey energy. It's like, at what cost? At what cost? At what cost? Like you need to be this quote unquote winner of what, you know? And then just like, I think the idea of like a positive, passionate, can-do attitude coming into play. People really tapping into that part of themselves of like knowing what truly is driving you, motivating you, and moving yourself towards those motivations as best as you can.
Do you love it when you'll be talking about something and I get the smile on my face because I'm like, I can't wait to tell you what the gate is that this is happening.
Oh, tell me.
No, it's awesome. Again, it's one that I have in my chart all the time, but Sun and Mars. So Mars is the traditional ruler of Scorpio. Pluto is its modern day ruler. So it's like the sun is in Scorpio. Mars is right with it. I'm like power. They're doing a power couple thing. And it's literally in the gate of power skills. This is a very special gate. It is considered one of the gates of abundance. Now we are talking about more that monetary, material abundance here, and power skills. It's an individual energy. So again, it's like, what is so special about you? And you mentioned like, entrepreneurial type endeavors at this time. It's about a focus on what's all the stuff that is unique to you that nobody else has going on. That it's like, that's your power skills. This isn't the fact that you can type, 50 words. I don't even know if that's like inaccurate, like however many words people type a minute, or that you can, you can dermaplane a face. It's like, no, what's special? Like what is special that you can do that's so different, that's so unique, that really sets yourself apart from the crowds. Like that's your unique selling point, and that's the power skills, So
I like
special
that.
day. Yeah.
That is really special. And especially also because this like has a creation energy to it as well. Like the sun is life and Mars is you can create with Mars. So like a creation energy is inherently just like something that it has to come from you. Like it's the things that wouldn't exist if you didn't exist. So those are very special, right?
Well, it's also a line 2. So it's 14.2. So then we're going to get more specific. And the second line is the natural. It's inherent. You just said that word. So it's like, it's just what emanates from you.
Wow.
You didn't have to like go learn this and study it or experiment. It's just like, this is just my zone of genius. I don't even know how. And oftentimes line 2, the second line, it's like, they don't even see it in themselves. It's like, I didn't even know this was something so special about me. So really that's that November 18th, right? A day of like, what are your special inherent power skills that you don't even give yourself credit for? Boom.
Love. I'm marking this on my calendar. I think given the debatey energy and like battles of wills and conflicts and whatever, I feel like this is an incredible moment then to also turn that to other people. If you're noticing something very special in someone else, uplift that.
Uplift them. Call it out.
Oh my God. We'll need that right now.
Again, that's the second line, is that it needs to be called out. So it's you see something in somebody, do it, because you don't know who's going to turn around and do that for you. And I think there'll be discoveries made, as far as, and again, Mars, what it is, I said, it's like, you're supposed to become powerfully wise there over time. These are things that you're like, they're in you, but it takes some time to necessarily like bloom, to develop, to come out.
So cool.
Right?
Yeah.
I like it.
I do too.
That's the day before. I know. That's the day before my husband's birthday. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to remember that day.
Oh, yeah. That's nice.
Cool.
That's really nice.
Yeah. Love it.
Yeah, I loved it. There was a lot to discuss clearly, but like, I won't lie. Like, it's like, there's more positive aspects than negative that we've been dealing with lately, at least.
We need it.
A lot going on, but yeah, we do need it. We do need it. There's this like turning of the page happening. We're feeling this like energy going somewhere else now.
Cool. So
Thank
good.
God. Thank God.
Okay, well, is that the end of our transit?
That is the end.
Okay, so tell me, or tell everyone what we were talking about before, because you have exciting stuff about to happen, and everybody needs to know.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, because this will come out technically before. I would say always go to my website for the most up-to-date links and things. That's ryansastrology.com. But you can also go to my Instagram or my TikTok. TikTok is at Ryan's Astrology. Instagram is at Ryan Marquardt. But launching November 2nd, my Astrology for Business calendar, which you maybe have heard me like talk about before, but it was just like very beta launch. Like it really was not out the door. We were testing so many things with this. Now, honestly, it's still like, it's almost like beta 2.0. But like it's a much fuller form of this astrology calendar for business specifically, although I think anybody could really benefit from it. But it's called, should I say it? Yeah, because the word will be out already. We're calling it Bismos CEO. Bismos, like business cosmos. CEO, cosmic energy oracle. And basically, it's a downloadable file you can purchase. There will be sales like straight out the gate, by the way. So like very like brief sales, though. It'll be $89 at like face value for a whole year of astrology transits that you can just put into your phone calendar, computer calendar, tablet calendar, whatever, handwritten by me. And amazing. Like, I know, like seriously,
amazing.
Like, there's no AI in this, FYI. It is the handwritten stuff where it's like do's, don'ts, industries that are impacted, parts of your business that you should be focusing on, what the transit means, new moons, full moons, void of course moons, which people don't even know what that means, but that's very important for stuff. Like all the retrogrades are in here.
We haven't talked about that.
Yeah. So you're going to get access at any point that you buy this. You'll get access to 12 months of transits. So we'll send you basically a calendar file, that you'll just like download and integrate into your calendar, whatever calendar you use. And it's more than that though, too. Like that was the initial beginning of this project, but this has become such a bigger thing that we named it, before it was just like the Astrology for Business calendar. Now it's like a brand that we're building out in a really special way. People that are getting in now are like on the like very like cool, like ground floor of like where I think we're going to take this. We're going to like incorporate the optional like text opt-in service for texts. So we can literally text you and be like, hey, Mercury retrogrades in 3 days. Are you ready? Like, are we preparing for it? Like, and you'll get these reminders via text if you want. We're doing quarterly workshops, which are going to be something that we charge for, like I won't say the price, but we're going to charge for it and quarterly. And basically, if you
just buy the membership
calendar, if you're in the calendar, you get to do the workshops for free. Otherwise, you've got to pay for them. If you do all 4 at minimum, we're doing 4, 1 a quarter at minimum, but I'm positive we'll be doing more. You're going to exceed the cost of the calendar if you just do the workshops. So you might as well just get the calendar and then do these free workshops, right? You get put in the email system and to get even more like really great like monthly digests of what's going on. Like this is a whole robust system that we are also looking at like some really cool tech elements for. We've got a website, like all sorts of other stuff. So you're just getting like the very beginning stages here, but for $89 at face value, it's a steal, but there will be discounts. So check out like my page for the discount on November 2nd.
Yes, we'll post about it for sure. And that's the whole thing is like the transits that we go through. It's like, I know that people are like, oh, I need to mark that down. I'm like, Ryan's already done all the work for you. It's like, just put it in and there you go. And you're up on everything that you're going to need to know as you go. And again, to stress it that it's like, I know so many people that listen to this are in business. They have their own business. Like when we're talking this November 18th thing, right? The sun Mars conjunct, like that's really powerful. So if you can choose to say you're launching a new service and you are able to look at this and go, you know what? Maybe not during Mercury retrograde, and maybe, yes, over here, this looks like a really great day. It's going to basically empower you to have so much more of an educated choice. Essentially, it's like, because if you listen to this and if you're here at the end, you clearly buy into what we're talking about. It's like, why would you not want to harness that energy to help you? Any leg you can get up in business, especially at this time, when just the world is the way it is. It's like you want every advantage that you can get, and astrology gives you that advantage. And isn't there that famous JP Morgan quote where he's like, millionaires don't use astrology, billionaires do.
Yeah. Do you know what's so funny that you brought that up? The sidereal astrology fanatic that I was talking about. She misquoted that in something she talked about. She said, isn't there that quote where it's like, millionaires use tropical astrology and billionaires use the sidereal? I was literally like, how lame are you, girl?
No, girl.
No. Anyway.
Get your JP Morgan quotes right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm trying to like this calendar, like the last thing I'll say about it is like, it's just, we're trying to make it as like practical to use as possible. So like literally like it is designed for daily use. Like, and it can just be, it's a tool of many tools that you use to make yourself a successful person who operates in life, right? And in capitalist society. And it's like if you're just trying to schedule a meeting with someone, right? And you've got two day options they throw your way. Look at the calendar and see which day appears to be more conducive for that type of meeting. Is it a brainstorm meeting? Is it like a contract signing meeting, a negotiation meeting? Like the calendar will literally be diving into these types of themes, and you will be able to set yourself up for greater chance of success by like using it as another tool. It's sort of like if your planner had like somebody sitting there prioritizing like how to put things in order, or like when to do things.
Yeah, it's like your own little personal astrologer, VA assistant, whatever.
Yeah.
But also, correct me if I'm wrong, but because this is like a business thing, is this not a write-off? Like if you have a business, is this not something that you could, right?
It is. Actually, good point. I didn't add that. I am writing that down as a marketing point. That is a really good point right there.
Yeah. I'm like, this is just another business expense. And I mean, that's and right for your business. It's like, what's $89? Come on now.
No, truly. Readings with me are more expensive, and I will also say just briefly, like this is something that anybody can use. Anybody. Just like how I said it in those even most mundane of situations where you're just trying to decide on a good day for a meeting. But if you are a more advanced person in this and you really want to take benefit of it, like these are the general transits. I'm giving you all that information as detailed as I possibly can, but it matters based on your chart. Like November 18th generally is going to be this great day. But how does it play out in your natal chart, right? Or the chart for your business? Like these are where it really, really, really amplifies or gets specific, or maybe the November 18th is not a good day for somebody, to be honest. Like you won't know. In general, you can kind of know. But I am also launching a whole like business strategy package in my business. So where we can use this calendar, whether you subscribe to it or not. You can sign up for my business session without being a calendar subscriber, but like why not use both? It just makes sense. But where I will be able to advise you on business moves as somebody who's like from a very like corporate background for like a decade. I will help you like refine messaging. Like we can talk about like public relations strategies, marketing strategies, branding strategies. I was just gonna say,
like, don't forget sales. Ryan was in PR. Like he knows, he's a Gemini, he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah. So that's like a more advanced package. It's gonna be my most expensive offering for sure, but it's like it takes time. Like I'm literally basically, in a sense, going back to my old career and picking up clients again. Not clients like readings, clients like I am reading for you and we're meeting regularly and I am building plans for you to grow your business. Like literally going to be sending you files and materials to like get yourself out there and grow your business.
Girl, you better send me these files and materials.
Oh, I will. I will.
She needs astrological help. Oh my God. I love it. That's amazing. Yeah. I just know so many people that would benefit from this truly because they are in business for themselves. Like this is a lot of people in aesthetics. So get on it. We'll talk about it again next month. Mm-hmm. I can't wait to see it and play with it and everything.
Yay.
I'm so excited for you.
Yeah. I don't want to overinflate it too. Like, just a little disclaimer, it literally is a calendar file. Like you're gonna get a calendar file, and and then it's just gonna layer in. It's not pretty. Like the calendar file itself can't be branded because it just doesn't allow for that type of thing. But that's why we're building this brand, and it's gonna be this larger product. You're gonna get the text service and like these branded emails, the branded website. We've got this beautiful logo and this whole idea that we built out behind this. And ultimately, I'll just say it, like, we'd die to make this an app, and we're already in discussions to turn it into a standalone app. So like, this is going to grow, but in its current form, I just want to say, like, don't expect like that you're going to get like an app in right now. It really is just you're going to get an email with calendar file, but you will be getting way more than that. The experience of it is better than the like actual look of what you're going to see on your phone or on your computer. It's a calendar. You're accepting a calendar invitation, basically.
Yeah, but it's like what power that contains. It doesn't.
Yes.
It's not about. I mean, and again, to take this moment and remind everyone that you're a manifester. Like, you're meant to bring new and innovative things into this world that people haven't seen and experienced before. So for them, it's the whole like, are you going to get on my train early? Are you going to be an early adopter? Or are you going to get left behind?
What else? God, absolutely. Thank you for putting it that way. Yes. Yeah, I'm very excited about this. I really am. I haven't been so excited about something in a very long time.
That's it. Making me excited for you for that reason, because you're lit up about it. Like, that's awesome. Yeah. I love it. I love you.
Love you.
My favorite time of the month, as always.
Oh, ditto. It's so good to geek out.
It's the best. Okay. Well, of course, if you're still here, thank you for listening all the way to the end. And, go find Ryan. Link is always in the show notes for him if you want to go schedule or get connected with the calendar, all the things that he's up to. And and you know where to find me. All right. Of course, until next time, have a beautiful day.